The 2020 federal heist. Today, we're breaking down the most devastating cyber espionage event in U.S. history. 9 months. That's how long the most sophisticated hackers on Earth roamed completely undetected inside the most highly classified networks on the planet, just watching, stealing, mapping out the nervous system of our global infrastructure. Let's dive into exactly how they pulled this off. Part 1. The Invisible Digital Heist. Picture it. It's December 2020. Absolute shockwaves suddenly rip through the intelligence community when a massive, invisible breach is finally uncovered. Cybersecurity expert Thomas Rid really hit the nail on the head here, calling it a highly sophisticated, stealthy operation. These elite, state-backed phantoms, they didn't just smash a window to get inside. No, they forged the master keys. So that leaves us with a totally terrifying question. How? How on earth did they completely bypass Einstein, which is literally the multi-billion-dollar national cybersecurity detection system run by the Department of Homeland Security? Well, the answer is pure evil genius. They weaponized our absolute trust against us. You see, this wasn't some sudden smash-and-grab attack. It was a slow bleed. Look at this timeline. Back in October 2019, they deployed a proof of concept just to test the waters. By March 2020, the federal breach silently begins. And the alarms? They didn't finally sound until December. In the digital world, that is an absolute eternity. Part 2. The Ultimate Supply Chain Attack. So how exactly did they pull off this digital ghost act? They executed what's called a supply chain attack. Think of it kind of like a digital Trojan horse. Instead of attacking a heavily guarded fortress head-on, these hackers targeted the trusted food and water deliveries going inside. They hid their malware inside routine third-party software updates. And the fortress guards? They simply opened the gates and let them right in. Here is their exact playbook, step by step. First, they compromised the software build system of a widely trusted company called SolarWinds. Second, they modified the updates for their Orion network monitoring software. Third, they distributed this Trojan update containing the Sunburst malware to literally thousands of clients. And fourth, they exploited those high-value targets. But guys, here is the absolute most crucial part. Just turning off the compromised SolarWinds software, that wasn't nearly enough to stop them. The hackers had already forged SAML tokens. Think of those as the digital VIP passes that tell a network, hey, I belong here. They masqueraded as legitimate users, seamlessly ghosting across Microsoft Cloud services without raising a single red flag. Part 3. An Unknowingly Compromised World. By the time those alarms finally sounded, the hackers had untraceable roots. We went from an isolated breach to an unknowingly compromised world in the blink of an eye. Just look at these victims. We're talking the Departments of Defense, Treasury, Homeland Security, and State. Tech infrastructure giants like Microsoft, and perhaps the most terrifying irony of all, elite cybersecurity firms like FireEye, the very guards meant to protect us, were breached. And no, it didn't stop at the U.S. border. Over 200 organizations worldwide were affected, including NATO and the UK government. The tentacles of this operation literally wrapped around the entire globe. To deepen their grip, the attackers layered their methods. While that SolarWinds Sunburst malware was a brilliant initial entry point via those Trojan updates, they didn't just stop there. They actively exploited secondary vulnerabilities, using software bugs in Microsoft and VMware cloud products to access emails, steal documents, and jump between networks. Honestly, it was a masterclass in redundancy. Part 4. Identifying the cyber spies. So, who on earth had the immense resources and patience to pull off a heist of this sheer scale? It quickly became the greatest whodunit in cybersecurity history. Investigators immediately pointed their fingers at highly sophisticated Russian groups known as Cozy Bear and Berserk Bear, which are linked directly to Russia's SVR and FSB intelligence services. Just to give you a sense of the consensus at the highest levels of government, Democratic Senator Mark Warner stated point-blank, all indications point to Russia. And we saw similar confirmations from former Attorney General William Barr, the FBI, the NSA, and the Director of National Intelligence. Now, without taking any political sides here, this explainer is simply reporting that across the board, U.S. intelligence officials laid the blame squarely on Russian state actors. But you want to know what the craziest plot twist is? Because just when investigators thought they had the full picture, the source material reveals a massive shocker.
While those suspected Russian hackers were inside the systems, FBI investigators discovered that suspected Chinese hackers were simultaneously exploiting a completely separate flaw in SolarWinds to break into a U.S. payroll agency. You literally cannot make this up. Multiple global adversaries leveraging the exact same software vendor at the exact same time.
Part 5. The Unseen Aftermath.
This discovery obviously caused an immediate global panic, but even as the headlines fade, we're left living an ongoing nightmare. The geopolitical tension from this, it literally cannot be overstated. U.S. Senator Richard J. Durbin bluntly described the cyber attack as tantamount to a declaration of war. It just proves the battlefield of the 21st century isn't just fought with tanks and planes anymore. It's being fought right inside the servers of our most critical infrastructure.
The physical and financial damage here was staggering. Tens of thousands of networks were immediately forced offline as organizations scrambled to see if they were compromised. IT teams had to undergo agonizing, months-long decontamination procedures. And the hackers? They certainly didn't leave empty-handed. They stole FireEye's proprietary Red Team hacking tools, and they even accessed the highly guarded source code from Microsoft products. We're going to be feeling the ripple effects of those thefts for decades.
Which leaves us with this one chilling thought. I want you to look at the device you're watching this on right now. If the Department of Defense and the most elite cybersecurity firms on the planet can be completely compromised through a routine, trusted software update, is any digital system truly safe? Definitely think about that the next time you click Update Now. That wraps up our explainer on the 2020 federal heist. Stay curious, stay vigilant, and I will see you in the next one.